Ms Davidson.
Thank you, Presiding Officer. To ask the Deputy First Minister when she will next meet the Secretary of State for Scotland.
Deputy First Minister.
I have no immediate plans to meet the Secretary of State for Scotland, but I hope to do so before too long.
Ms Davidson.
Thank you. Presiding Officer, may I add my deep regret over yesterday's jobs announcement and say that the speculation surrounding those job losses has been deeply unhelpful, and it's added to the huge amounts of worry to workers in my area of the Glasgow region and their families. Can I ask the Deputy First Minister, on reflection, does she now regret speculating publicly in the press last week that the entire Govan Yard could close, adding immeasurably to the worry of the workers there?
Deputy First Minister.
If Ruth Davidson, who is a Glasgow MSP, knew anything about the Govan Yard or the people who worked in the Govan Yard, she would know the level of anxiety, very, very real anxiety that existed within that yard last week about the potential closure of Govan Shipyard, because that was a real possibility facing that yard. I no longer represent Govan Shipyard. That pleasure and privilege now falls to Joanne Lamont, but the Govan Shipyard will always have a special place in my heart. And no matter whether I'm an MSP or not, no matter who I represent, I will always do everything in my power to stand up for the fine men and women who work in that fantastic shipyard on the River Clyde.
Ruth Davidson.
Presiding Officer, both speakers this afternoon have said that yesterday was a bittersweet moment for shipbuilding in Scotland. And I am pleased that, despite those job losses announced yesterday, the Clyde has been reaffirmed as the centre for building UK warships for the Royal Navy. In the last 24 hours, I've had a number of conversations with the company, and I'm pleased that BAE doesn't want the Clyde yards to remain static. It will now make a multi-million-pound investment into those sites to massively upgrade them and bring them into what they call the upper quartile of worldwide shipbuilding, creating a design and manufacturing centre of excellence on the Clyde. Simply put, it will elevate them to shipbuilding's Premier League. With all the earlier talk of diversification, the truth is that next-generation complex warships are increasingly built by specialist yards, not generalists, like the yards making commercial vessels to which the Deputy First Minister referred. And without massive upgrades, the Clyde will not have full capability to build the Type 26, and the company cannot compete in the marketplace to supply the most advanced vessels to foreign navies, and the yard's long-term future depends on both. I know, Presiding Officer, that the company is applying for grants from Scottish Enterprise, and it says it needs support from the Scottish Government as the yards transform. Can the Deputy First Minister tell me what work the Scottish Government is doing now to make sure that assistance is there when it is needed?
Deputy First Minister.
Can I say that we will, as I said earlier on in response to Joanne Lamont, we will be meeting directly with BAE Systems tomorrow, and support for their investment plans at the yard will be very much something that we want to speak to them about. Scottish Enterprise already works very closely with BAE Systems to provide all sorts of appropriate support for the company and for their presence on the Clyde, and that will continue. I understand that BAE's had RSA support in the past. Let me say very clearly on the part of the Scottish Government that we will give BAE Systems every support that we can, that it needs to carry out that investment in the Clyde to help secure the future of the shipyards. That's what we want to see. I believe it's what everybody in this chamber wants to see. So let's unite around that and make sure we're doing everything in our power to make sure that our shipyards have a future, not just for the next 10 years or slightly more than 10 years that the Type 26 would secure, but a secure future for the next 20, 30, 40, 50 years and beyond. That's what I want to see.